Hello, my name is Tim Willits, and I am the studio director at id Software.
Let's start by talking about the evolution of Quake as an esport.
Yeah, so Quake has a long legacy back to 1996, and Quake was always a competitive game. It was really the very first game ever to have the client-server network architecture, which allowed players to go to one destination to play. So groups formed, teams formed, clans formed, and then people wanted to find out who was the best Quake player. And so natural competitions kind of emerged from Quake. And we've had different iterations of Quake throughout the years, but at the same time, esports in general has exploded, and now it competes with mainstream entertainment. So it's really great to have Quake Champions now, with such a core focus on esports, backed up by the legacy of the franchise. So we're really excited about both the future of esports in general and then the future of Quake Champions in esports.
And when the original Quake came out, esports wasn't even a thing. So how did that esports evolve kind of through Quake?
Yes, you're right. When Quake came out, there was no such thing as esports. If people had told us 22 years ago that there would be stadium-filling events where people would watch other people play video games, I would not believe them. So it was really a organic, natural growth. Gamers are social. Gamers are very competitive. People want to know who the best gamer is in XYZ title. So because Quake had naturally had that competitive nature to it, because it was a very skill-based game, still is, it led itself well to watching, the best Quake players play the game. And QuakeCon, of course, we always had tournaments here, and it's grown and grown, and it evolved over the last 20 years.
The original Quake wasn't designed for esports and it didn't exist, but the new Quake Champions was. Can you talk a little about how that influenced the development?
Yes. So when we made the original Quake, we just made a fun multiplayer game that we like to play. And because we were pretty competitive, it just kind of turned out that way. But with Champions, we really steered into the competitive side of the game. The biggest thing that we really focused on is working with the pro players, the Quake pro players, early. And we worked with them on game modes. We worked with them on balance. The pro players were the first people to actually ever play the game outside of the studio. And then, of course, we have better spectating. We have very good rules. But it's still the competitive nature of the game leads itself to esports. So esports is just a name for competitive multiplayer, and that's what Quake is.
When it comes to the pros, are there any examples of them steering the game in the direction it is today?
Yes, of course. So last year at QuakeCon, we came here with Quake Champions. We had our team game that we thought was a ton of fun. So we had about 60 or so pro players play the game. They played it on stage for the first public match, and they said, "Hey guys, this is a fun mode, but yeah, it's not going to work for esports." So we're like, "Okay," and they gave us some advice, and then we went back at Catalyst event in Poland, which was the big IEM, yes, and we grabbed a bunch of more pro players. They said, "Yeah, this is a better mode, but it's not quite there yet." So we're like, okay. So we kept reworking it until we get to our sacrifice mode that we have today, which is direct input from our pro players.
How are you seeing that impact the actual first season that you guys are having here with esports?
Yeah, so we have our Quake World Championships here at QuakeCon. We have two more big esports events this year that we've announced. It's worked out really well for us to start early with the pro players because we've got them on board. We have the best Quake players in the world here playing at QuakeCon, and they feel like they're part of the game. They've helped us in development. They feel that we're all in this together, and having their support has been great. I mean, it's really helped us a lot to have their support.
You've just mentioned other events. Talk a little about what's next after this $1 million QuakeCon World Championship.
Yes, so Quake Champions, we're committed to pushing esports forward. We have our next big event is the DreamHack Denver in October, where we'll have a $75,000 prize purse, and then we're going to follow that up with DreamHack in Sweden in the first week of December with a $350,000 prize purse. So we're really excited, to put the flag in the ground here at QuakeCon, but then also mark these big events moving forward, to show the esports community that we're committed to really pushing this game forward.
How are you seeing the traditional esports teams come over to Quake?
Well, so one of the advantages we have is most of the traditional esports guys that play first-person shooters already love Quake and are really good at it. So for them, it's kind of a natural kind of evolution to come over to Quake Champions. And Quake Champions at its core is very Quake. So those pro players feel very comfortable in the game, and they feel that they feel that they can really pick it up and be successful right away.
One of the most popular esports games out there pre-Quake Champions was CS:GO. How do you see Quake fitting into the current ecosystem when you look at the top games?
Yeah, so one of the great things that Quake Champions has is a 1 versus 1 mode. Of course, we have our team games, but there really is no 1 versus 1 first-person shooter esport game out there. And people love to watch the title fight. They want to know who the best Quake player is in North America and in Russia and Europe, and they want to know who the best in the world is. So because of our dual mode, because of the legacy of 1 versus 1 matches that we have in Quake, we can really put that up on a pedestal and be unique because really that is a big hole right now in esports.
As you look at the culmination of this first World Championship, are there elements that are going to be tweaked or changed as you look forward to other esports?
Yeah, so we're working on better spectator improvements. Following this skull in Sacrifice, we're going to try to work some things out to make that a little easier for spectators. Of course, balance. We're adding new champions. We added Doomslayer. We have a new champion coming up soon, and then we're going to look at other team game modes as well. To see what kind of rises to the top, but we're really happy with where we are in the reception so far, especially from our esports community.